On the golden plains of Ranthambore National Park, the heat of the Indian afternoon was merciless. Waves of air shimmered above the cracked earth, and every breeze felt like it had passed through fire. Amid this parched silence, two Bengal tigers emerged from behind a rocky outcrop, their striped forms moving with heavy grace. The male, a massive creature with thick fur around his neck and amber eyes sharp with awareness, walked slightly behind the female, who led the way with a steady, if tired, gait. Her ribs were slightly visible from the long walk under the punishing sun, and every paw step left a faint imprint on the scorched ground. They had traveled for hours, maybe more, searching for a water source that hadn't dried up. The seasonal streams had vanished weeks ago, and the only remaining pools were few and far between, jealously guarded by smaller predators or hidden in the forest's shadowy heart. Their eyes, used to hunting in moonlight, now squinted against the blazing sun. Each breath felt shallow and warm. The once lush green of Ranthambore had turned brittle and brown, save for scattered patches of stubborn acacia trees and jagged brush that offered little shade. Just when fatigue threatened to force them to rest on the open ground, an act that could mean death in this harsh land, a glimmer of hope appeared. A thin silver ribbon of water shimmered across the base of a nearby dry riverbed. It wasn't much, a shallow stream no more than a few inches deep, but it was enough. Without a sound, the tigress broke into a slow trot, and the male followed, his tired limbs gaining sudden energy. They reached the edge of the stream and drank greedily. Their tongues moved quickly, lapping up the muddy but cool water. The female closed her eyes, relishing each gulp. For the first time in hours, the pain in her muscles began to ease. The male, always protective, drank only briefly. His head rose often, scanning the horizon. The wilderness had rules, and one of them was simple: where there's water, there's danger. The sun hovered in the sky like a burning god, casting long shadows behind every rock. Birds circled high above, searching for carcasses or weakened prey. And in the dry grass nearby, something far more dangerous stirred. From beneath a half-buried log, a massive Indian rock python uncoiled itself silently. Its body was mottled with browns and yellows, camouflaged perfectly against the earth. It had likely remained hidden for days, conserving energy in the heat, but thirst had finally forced it from cover. The snake moved slowly, methodically, drawn to the scent of water, and perhaps the scent of the tigers themselves. Its muscular coils slithered with eerie grace, disturbing barely a pebble as it emerged into the sunlight. The tigress, sensitive to every shift in sound, paused her drinking and turned her head slightly. Her ears twitched. The rustling was faint, but unnatural. She turned around. At first, she didn't perceive it as a threat. A snake, even a large one, wasn't a typical danger to a full-grown tigress. She took a step toward it, intrigued more than alarmed, her body lowered in a stance of curiosity. The python raised its head slightly, sensing her approach. Its tongue flicked rapidly, tasting her scent in the air. She leaned closer and sniffed at its blunt head. The python didn't move. But then, without warning, the tigress opened her jaws and bit lightly at the python's upper body, a display of dominance meant to chase the reptile away. That was a mistake. With terrifying speed, the snake lunged, not with fangs, but with pure muscle. Its thick, scaly body surged forward and wrapped tightly around the tigress's torso in one fluid motion. The tigress roared in shock, but already the coils were tightening. She thrashed violently, trying to break free, but the python was massive, easily weighing over 200 pounds, and every loop of its body was like a living chain. The male tiger spun around in a blur, stunned by the ambush. He roared with rage, circling the struggle, unsure of how to intervene. One wrong move could crush her further or injure her with his own claws. She gasped, her paws clawing at the air, mouth wide in a silent scream. The python's grip was relentless, every breath she managed was stolen seconds later by another constriction. The male circled, roaring, growling, pawing the dirt, paralyzed by fear and frustration. And then, from the ridge nearby, help came. Two forest rangers, Arjun Mehra and Kunal Desai, were patrolling in a dusty green jeep along a trail when they heard the echoes of something unnatural. The sounds weren't hunting calls. They were desperate, raw, like something out of a nightmare. Kunal stood up in the passenger seat, scanning with binoculars. Over there. Movement near the riverbed. They turned off the trail and bounced across the uneven terrain, the engine rattling over rocks and roots. When they arrived, their eyes widened. The scene looked surreal, a tiger tangled in the coils of a python, another roaring nearby, its fury shaking the ground. Kunal jumped out first, grabbing a long metal snake hook and a heavy burlap sack, tools meant for much smaller serpents. Arjun followed with a thick wooden stick. Easy, slow, Arjun muttered. Let's not startle the male. The python raised its head slightly as they approached, tongue flicking furiously. It recognized the threat. Kunal moved to the side, smacking the ground to draw its attention. Arjun circled the opposite way. The male tiger watched them, growling low but stepping back. They worked with precision. Arjun used the stick to press against the python's body near its neck, loosening the upper coil. Kunal hooked the midsection, slowly peeling it away from the tigress's ribcage. She was barely moving now, eyes glazed, chest barely rising. Don't let it tighten again, Arjun warned, his voice strained. With one final motion, they managed to free her torso. The snake hissed, gave a final twitch, and then retreated, slithering into the grass and disappearing like smoke. The tigress collapsed fully, her flank rising and falling weakly. She's alive, Kunal said, feeling her chest. But slipping fast. Arjun opened the emergency medical kit, pulled out a revival injection, and disinfected her hind leg before pushing the needle in. Kunal held her steady, his hands trembling. Minutes passed. Sweat dripped from their foreheads. The male tiger watched in utter silence. Then, her paw moved. She coughed weakly, her sides shuddering. She's coming back, Arjun whispered, amazed. Her eyes fluttered open. She blinked at the sunlight, confused but alive. The rangers stepped back. The male tiger padded forward slowly, gently licking her face. She groaned, pressing her head into his shoulder. They sat together in silence, regaining breath, strength, and trust. Arjun looked out over the plains. Let's go. We've done our part. As the jeep rolled back toward the forest station, the two tigers rose. Their steps were slow but strong. They didn't roar. They didn't look back. Ahead, another puddle glistened, untouched, unguarded. They drank with new caution, eyes always alert. They had survived the trial of the dry riverbed. In Ranthambore, life was not a rite, it was a battle, and only those who respected its rhythm would endure. And in that fiery wilderness, two silent guardians drove back toward base, their hearts filled with a memory few would ever understand. Every life saved was worth a lifetime of service. Dear friend, thank you so much for watching our story. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support the channel.